Hello and welcome back. So today's video we're going to be working with Beton. Today is just going to be sweet and simple, a whole lot of desensitizing as far as what I feel like he needs to be desensitized to as a yearling, and just kind of needing to get my hands on him again because it's been a while since we've done any type of work with him. So today we're just going to find what we can, desensitize him, and then roller's free. Go up to the barn. Roller's free. Run away. Run away. They needed this. They needed this a lot. I haven't rode Jake in a few weeks, so he's really enjoying his time off getting chunky. Okay, we're gonna go and get set up. What are you guys doing? Where are you going? Whoa, son. Whoa, son. Okay. So, got little man. Whoa. Whoa. We're going this way. This way. This way. I guess Jake wants to come along. Today we had just a whole lot of chaos pretty much. I didn't really have a set plan in mind. I just had a whole bunch of things that I found that I wanted to test out and kind of desensitize Beton. And so that's pretty much just what we did. When it comes to desensitizing horses, I've really, I used to just think that scaring them, like trying to scare them, was the best way to desensitize them, but then I ran into a lot of learned helplessness, and so now I do it in small increments where I start with holding something, like say I'm twirling a rope, I go 1, 2, 3, take it away, give them a rub down or a treat, whatever I'm doing with whatever horse, and then I do it again. I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just build and build and build. To me, that has created a more confident horse, rather than trying to scare them intentionally and then reward them for pretty much learned helplessness. Because once you get them into flight or fight mode, that is nature to them. So pretty much once you hold them in a place, or they pretty much just give up, then you're rewarding them for giving up. And that's not what my goal is here. I'm really wanting to create a more confident colt, and so I try to stay in smaller increments, and I try not to scare him, but I try to build and build and build. And of course, at some point he is going to spook or get scared, and we're going to work through that, but that's not me intentionally putting him there. Once he gets that oh my gosh sensation over, and then you reward him with whatever his reward is, it's not you trying to teach him learn helplessness. I hope that kind of makes sense. If y'all wish, I will make a more detailed video over it, but you can see that already everything I've done so far is pretty much just his norm. I've haltered him before, I've swung the rope around him before, and all that good stuff. Fly sprayed him before, so you're going to see a whole lot that I've done with him that he's not really going to react to at all, and then we'll see some that he does react to just a little bit. So I'm spraying him with fly spray, and then I switched to like a different spray bottle. This is actually Shoshin, but it makes more of a loud kind of noise, and I haven't ever done that for him, so I started that. But Jake obviously is making everything a bit difficult, and because he walked over his lead rope, I use this as a little desensitizing as well, and trying to get him to respond to pressure and things like that. And of course, because that's never happened before, he's not quite sure how to get out of the situation, but his big brother's there to comfort him, unfortunately. I figured he would stay in his own corner, but Jake decided he wanted to be involved as well because he's super jealous. But Beton doesn't really freak out too much. I try to keep everything nice and simple. He does pretty well overall. Jake, of course, he's pretty chill too as well. So they make a great pair together when we're out doing stuff together. So like if Beton jumps, Jake won't jump, and I feel like Beton kind of learns from Jake as he grows. So right here I decided to do kind of sort of like a cinch pressure with the rope, and at first he didn't really mind it, but as I started tightening it, he kind of responded a little bit. So whenever he went to back up, I just tried to keep pressure there, and then when he stopped, I released it and gave him a nice little rub, and so he got pretty used to that pretty quick as well. And then I tried doing smaller sessions as well, and I think an ant got him on the face there because he was stomping at his face, and so I'm checking his face, trying to figure out a bee or something, I don't know, or a fly. I didn't actually see it, but he freaked out and tried to paw his face, so we checked that. That was great desensitizing. Jake's trying to comfort him and be in my way, and so we go back to the rope cinch pressure thing. And I held it there, and then before I tighten it up, I loosen it for a second and then tighten it back up, and then the longer he stands there without a response, the more I'm going to give him more love and rub on him and scratches and things like that. He really likes scratches. So right there, he tried to walk off, but I just held it and just kind of stayed with him. But as soon as he stopped, I released the pressure. And now he's not really wanting to walk. Jake made things super difficult, so next time we do another desensitizing session, I'm just going to lock Jake up. I figured that he really wouldn't want to be involved because he doesn't really care to be in the arena and he doesn't really care to be around Beton, so I don't know why, other than him being jealous, he wanted to stay in the middle of things. And the little ball was pretty new. I never really threw it on him or anything, but he didn't really care about it. Didn't really offer to do anything. It was a pretty chill session, if I do say so. I kicked the ball around, we went and we pushed the barrel around, and he didn't ever really show that he was super scared of anything. He was curious a lot. He was unsure of things, but I never felt like he reached that fight or flight in his own mind, because he never really offered to just run away. He stepped back a couple times in different situations, but never actually, to me, never offered that he was in flight mode. So, I just wanted to do that, and then just kind of doing a whole bunch of crazy things, swinging the rope around. I was singing, and I tried to, just jump out of nowhere, and a whole bunch of stuff. And so, that kind of helped a little bit, but I never really got a very dramatic response. The rope is new. We've never really worked with a rope. I have on Jake. I've thrown a rope off Jake, on Jake, everything. So that was pretty new. And I decided to untie him. So if he was to take off, then he could just run off. There wouldn't be an issue with the rope getting tangled up around his feet or anything like that. So, same with Jake. I just roped Jake's butt, just trying to show Beton, there's nothing to be afraid of. Jake's not freaking out. I don't know if it worked or not, but he was standing there, so I just wanted to pick on him a little bit. So I roped him in the face. And Jake's pretty chill as well. So he's a great role model in certain situations. And I'm very surprised that he's taken to Beton. And so roped Beton's face. And he jumped a little bit, but I think it was more because it hit his nose than anything. I'm just trying to really make some noise. There we go. So that made him jump a little bit, but didn't really make him run away. And then the feed bag is new as well. But of course, because it's their feed, he was all into it and wanting it and trying to bite on it and things like that. So I hadn't actually done groundwork with Jake in a while, so I did a lot of things with Jake as well. But he was just so interested in it. He was backing up because he wanted to bite the feed bag instead of letting me rub him all over with it. He was just wanting to know what was inside of it, which was nothing but try to make a whole bunch of noise. They followed me around making noise. Jake kicks the ball. Beton just really, really wants some feed. He's super curious as well. Like, he will walk up to anything. I don't think he has a whole lot of confidence that I need to boost, really. He's got so much in himself. And so, trying to get him to stand still with me rubbing it all over was kind of a project, just because he wanted to sniff it. He wanted it by his face. And so it took me a second for him to stand there, because every time I went to put it on his body, he wanted to back up. And he wanted to know what was in it. He was curious about it. So, and then I rubbed it all over him. I even rubbed it all over his face. He did so good. And he just, like, he doesn't care about my hug. He just wants to know what's in the feed sack. So he did pretty well. I'm super excited. Of course, there's a ton of other things that I didn't do that we could have done with desensitizing that we will do later on. And I really have gotten to where working with him has gotten so easy. I'm just so shocked by it. But I added, like, a whole lot of things onto my list of desensitizations that I could do. We used to have pool noodles and a whole bunch of other stuff, and that I'll do as he gets older. But right now our next project is going to be working on leading, getting him to trot when I run, things like that. And so we'll do a video over all that and just start simple and work our way up. I don't plan on doing a whole bunch of saddle work or anything until he hits 2. And just walking around, slapping the ground, and all that with my stick and string. I tried to make really loud popping noises, just because he is by nature just pretty chill. So I tried to kind of step up my game a little bit with the stick and string. And while the noise was different, he never really offered to just do anything. Even going out in front of him on each side, like, he did so well. We've never done that before. He's never even seen the stick and string. Like you've seen, I had to put the string back on the stick because I usually use it as a neck rope for Jake. So he's never seen the stick and string. This is our first session with it, actually, and he's just doing so great. And I'm trying my hardest to whip the ground as hard as I can, making the little helicopter noise above him and all that kinds of stuff. And he does not care. He doesn't care at all. So he's so nice. I just love him. I love him to death. I do. And other than the whole head bob, which to me doesn't really show scaredness, it's just like, trying to get your face out of the way so you don't get hit or something like that. It's kind of like more of a flinch. And he just doesn't care. He's so sweet. I even had the bright idea to play dead, and I seen all that on I slipped right there. I seen like on TikTok and stuff, like watching what does your animals think when you play dead, things like that. And so I ended up doing that as well because he's just so unresponsive. Like twirling the halter around his face. He's just so awesome. So amazing. So let's think of a scenario here. Beton is such a great little horse, and I know not everyone's horses are like this. So, like, what if he was to freak out and take off running away from me? Like, what would be my steps to get him comfortable again? So, say I was whipping the ground and stuff, and oh, I'm gonna play dead. Watch it. So say I was whipping the ground and he took off running and was freaking out. In my head, I know for a fact that that to them triggered the flight or flight, and that's not my intentions when desensitizing. I'm trying to make them confident versus making them scared. Excuse me. So if he takes off backwards, then in my head I have to think of, where did the escalation get to where that bridge of, oh, this is scary, but it's okay, or, oh, this is scary, I gotta run away. So is it me walking up to him? Is it me with the stick and string in my hand? Is it me just twirling it? Is it me making noise and twirling it? You know, you just gotta go step by step, and then you have to go back and, like, you have to track back to what made the horse react that way. And then you go back, and when they don't react, so say I'm just twirling it and he doesn't react, but then I start adding a noise and he reacts. Well, then I try to start with a very light noise and build on that. So I do a noise, a swinging noise. 1, 2, 3, they're standing still, take it away. Give them a pat and rub. Then do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, take it away. And then so all the way up until they react. And then if they react, it's going to take longer for them to react when you're building up steps versus, oh my gosh, I'm now hitting the ground and flooding their system. So, I hope all of this makes sense. So if you want me to kind of do a step-by-step desensitizing session explaining all those things, do let me know, and I'll try to find something super, super scary that Beton's never seen before, and then we can do a session like that if he will react to it. But things like that, I have a feeling that there's not a whole lot that's going to freak Beton out. So, but yeah, so once you backtrack and you build on those steps, so 1, 2, 3, horse isn't reacting, that's a good sign. You know, you stop, you pet them and love on them, and then you keep building. So say you get to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then the horse reacts. Well, next time, instead of doing 6, do 5, and then stop. You got to stop before the horse reacts or thinks about reacting, and then give them love and pets and treats or whatever you want to do. That's the best way, in my opinion, to go about desensitizing, and it creates a more confident horse in horrible situations versus a horse that is flooded and just doesn't care if he dies or not, is pretty much how I feel. When horses are flooded, that's literally how I feel, how they feel like once they get into a situation. They just kind of go lifeless and just they don't care if they die. It's more complicated than that, but that's kind of just what I imagine. So the ball, I mean, trying to get Beton to come back because I found something that he didn't really too entirely like, and I don't think it wasn't that he didn't like it, or that he was scared of it. It was just more so of, I was throwing it at him, because now, like, he's trying to walk off, but it's not like, oh, I'm scared of that walking off. It's more of like, I just don't want to be here. And so that's why I started doing the ball. And so I was throwing the ball, and I'm not throwing it as hard as I started, because I know he walked off and he tucked his butt and tried to walk off faster. that was more of a scare. So now I'm trying to do smaller increments and then build on that. And he's doing fabulous. So that's what I mean by like building on things versus immediately going to scaring them. And then he walked up to the bag and made me think of, hey, let's walk over this thing. And of course he does, no problem. So he's just a freaking awesome horse. I love him. I do. He makes my job too easy. I need to actually start making a schedule to where I can start working with him and really start getting stuff done. And start taking him places, desensitizing him at other places. And then Jake's just being the bigger brother, making sure that everything goes great, I guess. I don't know what to do anymore. Neither one of them chill out. And I love red horses. You know, I used to have, my favorite color was blue roans, but the best horses I've ever had are red horses. I know sorrels and chestnuts are so common and nobody really likes them, but I got two great ones right here. So that was about, now they think it's feed time because of the feed sack. My goodness. Pretty well. That's the first actual desensitization session that we have ever really had. I've done little things here and there, like when we first started to really halter break him and teach him to leave. I've done desensitization with that. We're gonna let them eat over there. I think really that's about all I've done. All the desensitizing I did with the lead rope, like around his waist. Well, that was the first time I did that, but like throwing it on him and stuff, like that's we've done before. Putting it around his waist, that was new. The feed bag was new. The whip was new. Hey, come on, y'all hungry? Nose out. He's kicking sand in my shoe. So that's our short desensitizing session with Beton. I think it went well, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know it's not a whole lot, but I figured that's something that I could add to his little journey for y'all to see. And before winter starts really setting in, then we'll really get into doing some training work with Beton, and I'll do some like how-to videos sort of like explaining what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So I hope y'all liked this one. We have a lot more coming ahead.